Good morning. Happy Friday. How are you? Faye here from Freelance Mum, ready to start our Freelance Mum Class Assembly and give you a roundup of what's been going on in the Mothership this week. Take a look at some of the highlights in Freelance Mums' lives, as well as getting the latest on the latest podcast. And this week, we catch up with Amy Box. Amy Box is familiar to lots of fellow freelance mums, and she also, I think she can officially now use that term, accidental entrepreneur, as she's accidentally launched another amazing business during lockdown, as some of you may have already seen. And we'll be finding out more about that in the latest podcast. And first of all, a big hello to lots of new faces who've joined the Mothership this week. It's really lovely to have you here. And welcome to Freelance Mum. The Freelance Mum Class Assembly takes place every Friday. You can either watch it live or, of course, you can always watch it on replay as well. And it's just your chance to stay connected. Don't forget to say hello if you're watching live now. And a big hello to Ali Walsh. It's lovely to see you here, Ali. Always lovely to see you and love following what you're getting up to on Insta. I cannot wait to taste your gorgeous cakes at the Freelance Mum Net Walk on Tuesday. Right then, let's get things started. It is time to do our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. So let's get out the little battered gold envelope. I say little. It is decidedly battered and decidedly gold. And it's most definitely an envelope. So here we are. Our Freelance Mum Star of the Week is... Da, da, da. I know you love her. I know you love her. It's Zoe Hewitt. Congratulations to you, Zoe Hewitt. We think you're absolutely fab. I think you probably dissolve. You probably dissolve. You might dissolve like a little lump of sugar. You probably deserve a medal, Zoe. I think you're one of our longest standing freelance mums. I can remember meeting you years ago in NICU. Back in the day, they were hooked up to breast pumps. Wasn't that decidedly glamorous? Anyway, that's not why you're the Freelance Mum Star of the Week. You are an absolute star, Zoe. We love you each and every week. We love your style. We love your flair. And you've really had us very excited at the Freelance Mum Coffee Morning, but I will not tell all. This week in the Mothership, you've been telling us how you booked yourself into the gym for the first time since COVID for virtual combat. How was that? Are you still suffering? We'd love to know. You also engaged beautifully with Adele's focus question on Tuesday for the Tuesday takeover, which was all about, well, it was about what can you do basically to reflect on things and how I've managed to pivot in your business. And you said that you had previously been spending money you didn't readily have available and investing on yourself, on coaching and courses. And no one else was going to teach you what you needed to know. So good for you investing in yourself. That is a really good thing to do, Zoe. And on Wednesday, now you were absolutely fab on Wednesday. Let me see if I can share this wonderful photo. Where is it? Because we had this I want to get it. I'm determined to get it. Here we are. Here was Zoe, top right, clutching her mug when she made this amazing announcement at the Freelance Mum Coffee Morning that, well, I won't steal her thunder, but put it this way, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Zoe very soon. And it was joyful to see her at the coffee morning, and she was jumping for good reasons. She also had mega gubbins on Thursday with her business offering. And also her interior design kits are now fully live and in the shop. And the copy came from Erin Hambra, who of course is another fab favourite at Freelance Mum, and she's already sold 3. You're amazing. Plus on today, with our Freelance Mum general roundup of the week, you were saying that you had a lot of praise from work and that someone said you're an absolute joy to work with. And it's the second time that someone's used the word joy to describe. I think you are a joy. You're definitely a joy. And that you had made a short list for some awards as well. But also, I couldn't agree more. You said it was golden to make the Freelance Mum Coffee Morning. Well, yes, it was golden to have you there. We love having you there at the coffee morning. So here we go. Here is the very battered original gold star. Ta-da! And here is your certificate. There you go, Zoe Hewitt. Print it out. We'll pop it in the comments below so that you can attach it to your fridge, please. Pop it on your fridge with pride. You deserve to have it there because we are very, very proud that you are Freelance Mum Star of the Week. And we cannot wait to see your focus question for the Tuesday takeover. So there we are. It's lovely to always see who's been doing particularly well at Freelance Mum in the Mothership. Really, truly it is. Okay then, we'll be playing you out towards the end of class assembly with a roundup of all your business offerings with the Freelance Mum Gubbins and the Freelance Mum Gibbons. And that's your opportunity and our way of thanking you for being an amazing fellow freelance mum. And giving you the opportunity to send us your business offerings, which we will play out in the Freelance Mum Anthem. That is all still to come. First of all, though, it's time for us to share the latest Freelance Mum podcast when I caught up this week with Amy Vox. Good morning and welcome to the Freelance Mum podcast. It's just myself this week as poor Laura is really suffering with toothache. So we're sending lots of healing vibes to Laura today. But I'm delighted to welcome a Freelance Mum favourite and friend to lots of us. She always brings joy to our lives. And that's Amy Vox. Now, good morning to Amy. Lovely to see you. We know you in many guises, Amy. I think you're going to have to be one of these people who says serial entrepreneur soon, aren't you?
Probably.
But you're here today because you've had an amazing pivot, discovery, new business launch, what should we call it, during lockdown. You're multi-skilled. Tell us a little about these gorgeous dangly earrings that you're adorning now, and how they have come to be part of your new accidental business.
Yeah, it's very random actually, and it makes me laugh thinking about it. I accidentally started another business in lockdown. Genuinely didn't mean to. So I think most of the freelance mums who know who I am. I'm a vocal coach by trade, and I was running a choir before lockdown. And obviously, you're not allowed to sing, and we couldn't have public gatherings and all of that kind of stuff. The community of the choir, all of that just went to pot. And because I'm a single mum, I just didn't have the time or energy, to be honest, to keep running my choir online like other choir leaders have been doing, which is amazing. They're able to offer that. But I couldn't do it. My school was shut for 6 months and I'm a single parent. So I don't really know how I'm here.
I'm laughing, I hasten to add. Look, here, laughing, cheerful and gorgeous. That's what you're
Yeah. Sometimes I think you have to laugh so you don't cry about many situations this year. I'm sure loads of people have had many of those moments. So I kind of just went, Amy, give yourself a bit of, like, be patient with yourself, trying to teach myself to be gracious and not put too much pressure on myself to get too much done, because obviously my income just dropped. I was singing in care homes as well, getting the old people singing, and that had to stop. So I just went, take all the pressure off yourself. I was claiming, or have been up till now, I'll tell you about that in a minute, claiming universal credit because I had to after my husband left. So I just was like, you've got that to fall back on. You just need to focus on surviving 6 months at home with the kids. And then towards the end of the summer holidays, when we had the beautiful horizon of like it coming up where school was going to come back, you know, that point where we were all like, yes, it's coming. And my parents, really lovely of them, had each of my girls for a little holiday at their house, one at a time. So basically it just meant that they had some time away from each other because they were murdering each other practically. So yeah, my eldest went there on a Sunday, and then on the Tuesday I took my littlest over there and brought my eldest home, and then they brought, you know, the little one back on the Thursday. So it worked really well. So they had 2 days and 2 nights sleepover at Nana and Bampy's. It was really exciting for them. And I had 2 days and 2 nights with each of them individually, which was really special actually. So it was on this Tuesday. There is a point to this, I promise.
Oh, no, I like it. I'm listening. I'm there. I'm mentally walking up the garden path of Nana and Bampy's. I'm with you. Yeah,
that's it. Ready to swap one child for another. Yeah. So it was the Tuesday when I was taking, you know, Phoebe and was going to take Bailey home, and my mum had bought some polymer clay. Just a bulk load of different colours from Amazon to make fairy houses with the kids. So she just bought it and went, oh, I found these fairy houses on Pinterest. I thought it would be really cute to make these fairy houses with the girls, you know, each of them when they come to stay. So they'd been making fairy houses, and when I got there, they had this clay out and they were playing with it. And then I, being creative and also a little bit of a child, wanted to play. It's like, why do the kids get all the fun? I want to have a play. So I sat down with them and I Googled, you know, researched on Pinterest what kind of fairy house I wanted to make, and got all my colours ready together. And I spent about an hour making this fairy house. I wanted it to be perfect, and my dad was laughing at me like, you know, 30-year-old woman Amy playing with clay making a fairy house, and I was like, leave me alone, Dad. I'm having
a lovely time, not sharing, go away. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, by the time that I was at the end of making my fairy house, the girls had got bored way before then and had gone on to play something else. And I was like, you're not putting this away because I've not finished my house. So anyway, I had so much fun with that clay. And then, you know, while I was researching on Pinterest what house I wanted to make, it also then pops up with other polymer clay creations, because there's lots out there. It's a beautiful material to be able to mold and make things with. So there were lots of other creations on there, and so I was just a bit inspired, and I wasn't even thinking about making money at this point. I was just inspired, thinking this jewelry is really lovely, and I love earrings. I've always been like a big earring person. I think it just adds, you know, I know that you love your earrings as well, Faye. It adds to an outfit, and you can have a pretty boring standard school run outfit and then put on a pair of jazzy earrings and feel like you're dressed up. So I love that, but I've always loved that about earrings. So I was like, I want to make some for myself. On the way home then in the car, my parents live in Weston-super-Mare. So all the way home from Weston, I was thinking about this clay.
You were mentally designing, weren't you? I can. Yeah.
I was, and my brain works at like 500 miles an hour. It just goes off way ahead of where I am at. So I'd already made the decision by the time I got home that I was going to buy some of this clay for myself, that I had deserved it after 6 months of single parenting and lockdown. I was like, I deserve to treat myself and buy a little bit of this clay. And the other reason is because I was, like, again, like probably many of other freelance mums, completely exhausted, like at the point of burnout. I was gonna be ill if they didn't go back to school because I was just so drained. But because I know myself really well, and I know that my mind goes at 500 miles an hour, and I'm a bit of a workaholic when I get into something as well, I just knew that they'd go back to school, and I was very, very aware that I had to get the balance right between giving myself enough rest time to actually recover and allow my body to recover after 6 months of single parenting in lockdown. It's insane. Please don't bring it back. I don't want to ever do it again. But I needed time to rest, otherwise I would get ill. But I also knew that my mind wouldn't let me just sit and rest and do nothing for very long before I started going, you need to do this, you need to get on top of the housework, you need to do this bit of DIY, you need to like start earning some money and figure out how to get business back together. So I knew I had to get this balance right. So for me, I just knew that the clay would be a really good way for me to sit down, like it forces me to sit my bum actually down in front of the TV. So I've been watching Grey's Anatomy again from the start. So it forced me physically to rest, but it allows my mind to keep going because it's something creative. So I knew that my mind would go, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, and have loads of different ideas. So my mind could keep going and be busy and be active, which is what it makes my mind happy, but my body could actually physically sit and rest. So that's why I bought this clay right at the very end of August.
But so you bought this clay. You were completely enchanted by these fairy houses. Obviously, the texture, the clay, the whole creating process had a huge appeal to you, Amy. But from what point did you go from, you know, this is just my fun little thing to do in the evening, this is my way of chilling out, to actually accidentally launching another business?
It literally makes me laugh every time I talk about it because I'm laughing at myself. My sister at that point still lived here. So my little sister moved in at the start of lockdown to give me a bit of adult company through lockdown, basically, so that I didn't have to never see another adult again for 6 months. So she was still living here. She's moved back into her flat in Weston now. But she obviously saw what I was making, and the first couple of bits that I made some flower earrings, and I made some little peas in a pod. And at the moment they're sold out on my shop because everybody loves them, so I need to make some more. But I made these little green peas with little eyes on them in a little pea pod with a heart on top, and I just made one into a necklace, and she asked if she could buy it from me. She said, I want it, can I pay you for it? Because I was like, it's mine. So she said, can I pay you for it? And I was like, yeah, all right then. And then she said, you should sell it, because other people, it's really good, other people would want it. So I put a little feeler out on Facebook, just on my normal profile, not on a business page, saying I'm really enjoying playing with this clay. I've just made these peas in a pod. My sister keeps telling me that I should sell them. Would anybody like one, basically? And I had about 4 orders just from me posting, where people are like, yeah, I want one of these. So me being me, and I'm the kind of person that will just jump into something like fully emerged straight away. And often, and this is the downside to this, I have had a lot of things that have failed because I've jumped in too soon and I've not weighed it up properly, and then I've had to backtrack and go, okay, that wasn't the right thing to do. So that's the downside to being this kind of character. But I just jumped in. So this was like the Thursday, I think it was. Bearing in mind, Tuesday was the first time I played with the clay. On the Thursday, I posted on Facebook saying, does anyone want to buy these peas? And I had 4 orders. So then by the Sunday, I set up an Etsy shop and an Instagram. And in that first week, and I genuinely, again, I wasn't intending it to be a business. I just thought, why not? I'm relaxing. I'm being creative. I'm letting my mind do something while I rest before I can actually get back to some proper work. And if I sell what I make, then that's a bonus. So that's kind of what I thought. And then in that first week, I made back the costs that I spent on all the clay. And I made a profit of about 50 quid. In that first week. And so at that point, again, being a bit of a business head as well, because I've been self-employed for 7 years, so having all that knowledge that I have had in business, at that point I went, well, this obviously is working, people like it, I'm just going to run with it and see what happens.
So this is amazing. And one of the things I love about you, Amy, is that you have got that business know-how, because many people know you as a singer and you run choirs and so on. But in actual fact, and I don't want to dwell on it too much, that wasn't even your first business. Prior to that, you had Amy Box Nails, didn't you? You're making your own vegan nail varnish. So we're now talking about your 3rd business, and you're 30, Amy?
Yeah, 30.
You're doing very well here, and there's a lot of business know-how. Now, one of the things that I love about your designs, in fact, it's not just the designs, it's the experience. So I've ordered one of them. Is that when it comes through, and you've got it on this lovely branded backing, and I thought, oh, you've done a really good job there, Amy, and it's got your lovely designs. And I said, I dropped you a line and said, gosh, that's good. You've got all this branded cardboard backing that you put it through. And you said, yeah, that was a rather nice win, if I must say so myself. They're business cards that I got, So there's some really good, handy things that you've learned quickly as a businesswoman already. Is there anything else that you've been able to take your knowledge and experience from other businesses, and you've just been able to lift up and put into this new accident of yours?
Absolutely. And genuinely, this is, I think, why, or one of the main reasons why this accidental business has gone so well and has been so successful. And I'm not saying that my products aren't lovely, because they are. I wouldn't sell them if they weren't. And I'm quite a perfectionist as well, so I make sure that they are lovely. And obviously I do have a bit of creative flair, otherwise I wouldn't be making things that people want to buy. So I'm not diminishing that, but I genuinely put a lot of this success to all of the experience over the last 7 years and the stuff that I've learned about marketing. I've paid for business coaches over the years. I think I've been one-to-one with like 3 different business coaches. Paid a fortune in business coaching one year because I just got a chunk of money and went, I'm going to invest that in my business. That was when I first started teaching singing, and I had online singing courses and all of that kind of stuff. So all of that knowledge about marketing and finding out who is your ideal client, where are they going to be, how are you going to speak their language so that you draw them in, and all of that kind of stuff. I absolutely have just, I think almost without thinking, applied it to this, which might be why it rocketed so fast. And I'm in an Etsy sellers group for just people that have Etsy shops to kind of support each other. And I've noticed that a lot of the store sellers are saying things where they're struggling for sales, and so they're asking for advice on their Etsy shop. But after chatting to them a little bit, I realized that they don't know anything about business really. So they're not focusing on their ideal client. They're not writing anything on social media to try and engage them and draw them in, or even tell them about their products. Some of them just set up a shop and then expect people to find them. So I think it made me realise all of this stuff that I've learned about marketing, I am actually applying that to this business, and that's why it's a success. And again, like you mentioned about the business cards, rather than, and there definitely is a place to pay for like professional branding, 100%. And I've done that before, and I possibly will do for this business if it carries on. But I designed my logo myself using Canva. And then I put it onto a business card and had a load of business cards sent to me, and I poked the holes in the business card myself to hang the earrings from. So it's really frugal. And the actual packaging themselves, I've got one here because we were doing it earlier. So this is like how they come in the box. So lots of people think that that's really expensive, but actually it's just a wage slip, a wage packet from the range, with some twine over it. So the earrings go in the wage packet, we fold it over, we put the twine on the top and bow it up, and it looks beautiful. So it's things like that. Those are the kind of mistakes that I made way back when I was selling nail polish, when I had Box Polish as a business. So I handmade nail polishes and sold them, and I made all the expensive mistakes back then. Like I bought really beautiful like floral boxes that like tied together with a big ribbon, and I did all of the expensive things back then, which means that this time I'm not drawn by all the shiny beautiful like packaging that costs a fortune, but actually a wage slip and a bit of twine can look really pretty as well. So yeah, I guess they're the main things really. The being frugal on my expenses is definitely a learned thing, but all of the marketing experience that I've had over the last 7 years is absolutely paying off now.
You must be thanking your younger self right now. You really must be saying, thank you, Amy Box, for launching those other businesses, making those mistakes and learning from them.
Yeah.
It's great that you can draw from that, and that none of those, they weren't mistakes, they've all been successful businesses within their own right, but you're drawing from those learnings again now.
Yeah, definitely. And isn't that encouraging as a business person, and just as a woman as well in life, that sometimes stuff we can look back on stuff and think, oh, that was a waste of my time, why I wasted. And I remember when I sold Box Polish, and I remember feeling like I was 26. I mean, really, I was 26 years old and I sold a business that I built from scratch. Like, that's incredible. But I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on, oh my goodness, I've wasted 4 years of my life building this business that I'm not going to carry forward. I've wasted all of that time. But it wasn't wasted at all, because I learned so much that I could bring forward. Even though I went into a totally different industry and was vocal coaching, I still used a lot of the stuff that I'd learned in that time run, building up that business. And yeah, it's really lovely just in life to be able to, I think we need to change our perspective sometimes, rather than thinking that was a waste of time. Looking at what we can learn from that, and even if we can't apply it, we can't think about what we've learned from it now, I can guarantee in a few years' time there'll be something.
And you one of the things I've particularly enjoyed seeing as well, Amy, is that you are very much sharing the love and you're paying it forward because you've already got your own new team member, haven't you?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's insane. Really exciting. So I'm a massive believer in outsourcing, and like just giving someone else the jobs that you can't do or aren't as good at. And I know that not everyone is in a position in their business to afford to do that, and sometimes you can't afford to, and you have to do all the rubbish jobs that you don't want as well. But I think when you can afford to, it is really good to be able to outsource and, like you say, bless somebody else. So I just found that I was getting so many orders that I was spending all of my time, those precious 6 hours a day when the kids are at school, which is less than 6 hours anyway, because you've got to do the school run, you know, and then I've got to get back and walk the dog. And then by the time I've done that and come home, it's lunch. And you just find there's not enough hours in the day. And I found I had people asking me for designs, but I didn't have time to make anything because I was getting so many orders. All of my time was spent packaging up the orders for posting. And I was at the post office every day with like between 8 and 15 orders every day. It's amazing. It's an amazing problem to have. But I was packaging till midnight every night. And then I was at the post office every day with all these orders. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. If I can pay someone to package them for me, that frees up my time to be able to make more. And then obviously I can sell more, and that's how businesses grow, isn't it? But it's really lovely for me to be able to have Jo on board, who some of you will know her. She's an incredible face painter, Jojo. But obviously she does events, face painting at events, and that's all dried up. So she's struggling, like a lot of us are this year. So to be able to get her on board and be able to bless her by saying, here you go, here's all the orders, you package them up, and we can also, she sits at the other end of my table. She was here this morning, and we can have a chat and a laugh and a cup of tea while she's packaging and I'm creating. And it's so lovely. It's always been one of my dreams as a business person to have someone on my team, like a team member. So it's so lovely to have that.
I can picture your kitchen table now, just alive and buzzing, and all the chatter that must go on, and all the laughter and the excitement. And you've got a fab teammate. You've got a great person to have on your side in working with Jojo. So I'm so pleased, so pleased. I'm going to ask a question, which, to be quite frank, is ridiculous because I already know the answer. Are you getting bored yet of creating designs, Amy? Has this lovely love and passion of a hobby, have you thought, I'd quite like to stop now and just have a chilled out evening?
No. In short, no. I think one of the things about this, which is really lovely, is that I can't, if I get bored of something, I just create something else. There are so many options with working with polymer clay. There are loads of techniques that I'm not even going to use because why would I try and do everything all at once? And again, it's about having that business mindset of what makes you different from somebody else. I don't want to do the same thing as someone else is doing. I want to find my own style and my own way of how I'm going to do things. So, but even within that, there is your imagination is like the world's your oyster. It's just whatever is in your imagination you can create. So I'm not getting bored because I actually have so many ideas. I don't have time to do them all. So I've got like ideas logged in my head that I just haven't got enough time to sit and do. And if I do get bored of one, this is the other beauty of how I'm doing it. I'm creating them into really small batches. So like these that I'm wearing, and they're just simple, like I don't know if you can see it in this lighter, but they're baby pink clay hearts. And I made 4 pairs, and then they sold. And that was it. I've not made any more. And at some point, if someone says that they, I really, really, really want a pair of those, and I have time and I want to, then I'll make some more. But in general, I'm making small batches. I made 6 pairs of the leaves, Monstera leaves ones. They all sold out in like 12 hours. So then I made another batch of 6, and they all sold out within another day. And then I thought, I don't want to make them again because I'm getting bored of that green. So I went on to do something else.
And what is your trademark then? How would you describe your style, Amy?
I think I'm still learning because I'm only like 5 weeks in. So I'm still trying to hone in what it is. But I have decided I'm definitely not going down the route of doing, although I started with those peas in a pod, So I'll still make some peas in a pod because people do love those. There are a lot of polymer clay artists out there who do like cartoon kind of figures of food, or, you know, ones with eyes on and things like that. I'm not doing that. I'm going down the statement earring, making a fashion statement kind of route. And yeah, other than that, it's more about learning what I'm not going to do than about what my style is at the moment. I think I'm still just discovering it, to be honest.
I love them. I particularly like the slightly off-centre hearts that you've got going on today. They're beautiful, really beautiful. I also enjoy when you share the process, Amy, and it's really nice to see when you've created. It's almost like a sheet of pastry, isn't it, the clay? And you create the pattern, you share the pattern, and then from that, you then create the earrings. Is there ever any little bits left over? What do you do with those bits?
Oh yeah, so this is quite fun, and this is, again, it's another one that I think is kind of one of my USPs, is that all of my packaging is recyclable. You can recycle it or reuse it. I don't want to be adding extra unnecessary plastic to the environment. Like, we've got enough of that going on. I don't want to do that. So it's all recyclable, and I also don't want to waste any clay, because again, it's a waste. Like, I'd much rather be using that. So yes, what I do is, and this is not for every pair of earrings, but for a lot of my collections, it's called slab art. So I've got a pasta machine, which I bought at the start of the month, the start of September. It's very clever, and you use the lasagna section of the pasta machine to kind of, you've got to condition and squish the clay first so that it's usable, and then put it through the pasta machine so that you've got like a lasagna sheet, basically. So it is like a slab, and then you create the design on top of that, and then you cut the shapes out of it. So you can imagine, like, when you make cookies with the kids and you roll out the dough and you cut out cookie shapes, you've got that left over, the little bits left over after you've cut out all the pieces. So for me, when I've got those, and I try and use as much of that slab as possible, because I can also cut tiny little studs out of it and things like that, but I roll it up, and it will have complementary kind of colours on it, because I don't make earrings with clashing colours anyway. It's all kind of complementary in each style. And so I roll it up, and then I make beads out of them. So it like marbles, the colours kind of marble together, and then I make beads out of them, and I put them onto beads. So they're called zero waste bead necklaces. And so there's only one necklace from each collection. I think there's only one zero marble beads necklace on my Etsy shop at the moment, which is from the Dalmatian collection. So it's like black and white, kind of, it's like white beads with black marbles into it. All the rest have sold. So I'm using the rest of the clay as well to make something else, and I really love that part of the creation process, because it's not necessarily what I had in mind for that slab, but as you're creating it and rolling all these beads, it looks really beautiful, and there's something really lovely about taking the bits that didn't fit, the bits that were like not, you know, that weren't good enough to be in the end product, and then making something really beautiful out of them as well. It's a really nice part of the process.
I quite like the fact it feels as though every bit is loved. There's nothing that's, you know, it might be an offcast, it might be a slightly wonky piece, but actually every piece will have its day. That's beautiful. I love that. I haven't picked up on your zero waste beads. I'm going to have to check those out now, Amy. We started at the beginning of this podcast by you saying that you've just come back from the job centre. So what were you alluding to at that moment in time, Amy?
So this is insane, and I'm sure, like, I want to write kind of a post to share about this on social media, but I'm also aware it's quite a sensitive subject, and what I don't want to do is make anyone who is on benefits feel inferior, or like they don't deserve to be on them. It was very difficult for me after my husband left last year, to go from a really good joint income to suddenly being a single parent and not having barely any income, and go into the job centre. So I had to claim universal credit, and that was really hard to get my head around, but I'm so grateful for the universal credit I've had in the last 18 months it's been since Dan left, because otherwise I couldn't afford to survive and feed my children, and so I'm so grateful for it. but I never wanted to be on them forever. I always wanted it to be like a stopgap for me, just to keep me going until I'm earning enough that I don't need them anymore. And there's something really lovely, I think, as well, about providing for yourself and your children and not being reliant on anybody else. And all my life I've been reliant on my husband to support me and the kids, so it's challenging but lovely to feel like I want to support myself. So I always had a goal to come off the benefits, and I was going to, at the start of the year, I had a goal to be off them by Christmas, and then COVID happened and I lost all of my income practically overnight. We're still not allowed to sing in groups, so I lost all of that income practically. I had a couple of singing students who I see online on a weekly basis and they're still going, but I lost basically all my income, so that just put a stop on my goal to come off of benefits by Christmas. And this totally has completely blown me away and swept me off my feet, if you like, because it happened by accident. I didn't even mean to start it, and within the week of the first week I covered my costs and made a bit of profit. Within the first month I made over 100 sales, and now I'm in week 6, and from what I've taken so far, the universal credit won't give me anything next month because I have earned too much. So it's amazing, and I feel very blessed, very, very blessed. And I know that I've worked hard as well, so I'm not diminishing the hard work that I've put in, but I also just feel so grateful and so blessed. And particularly, and it's because of people that have been sharing my stuff as well, buying it and sharing it, and I've got a really lovely network of just lovely people, a lot of freelance mums included, who are just have my back and are shouting about what I'm doing. And so to go from, it's making me feel a bit emotional, to go from feeling like, well, I'm going to be on these benefits until next year at some point, I don't know when, but obviously eventually I want to get off them, to, oh my goodness, in 1 month I have them, I have the full amount because I don't earn anything, and then the next month I don't get anything because I've earned too much. It is incredible, and yeah, I just feel very, very blessed.
Well, Amy Fox, I mean, huge congratulations to you. It's no less than you deserve. Really, truly, it isn't. I mean, you've put years and years of hard work in there. It's not just that you accidentally discovered that you quite liked making fairy houses. It really, with all those years and the hard graft from the previous businesses as well. And I'm so pleased that you're able to reap those rewards. Before we go, I just need to ask Amy if I could wave a magic wand and you could make choirs reform again now. Would you be running your choirs? Will you be running your choirs as well as doing your jewellery, or what do you see as your future?
I totally would, yeah. If we could wave a magic wand and set them up now, I would, because I really miss it. I have ummed and ahed about, I don't even know if this is going to happen, so this is a Freelance Mum exclusive. But I have ummed and ahed about whether to just do a Christmas choir and just run a choir from like September to Christmas, do a Christmas show, and then give everyone a break, because running a choir takes an awful lot. I'm sure, like you can imagine, it takes an awful lot of energy. You've got to have triple the energy that you want the choir to give you, so you've got to just keep giving it and giving it. It takes a lot of preparation before rehearsals, and it's just an awful lot of work. And while it's worthwhile, as long as you have the members in the choir, it's worthwhile. It's exhausting, so I had to kind of reassess a lot of what I was doing after Dan left and I became a single mum, because that's also exhausting. And you know, I think all of us as freelance mums, we've got to be careful of our energy reserves. So yeah, so I'm not sure whether I'll start it again as an all year round choir, but I definitely, choirs haven't stopped for me. I will definitely bring it back, possibly for Christmas. And I'm kind of just riding the wave and seeing what happens and enjoying being creative while I can. I will never stop teaching, singing, vocal coaching, because it's my absolute biggest passion. It's what I love to do, and it's my profession, if you like. So I would never ever stop doing that. But I quite like the thought of being able to be creative, making jewelry, and then running a choir, just doing a Christmas show, big Christmas show, and then having a little break after that. So at the moment, that's where my head is at. But who knows? Who knows? Because things could change all the time, can't they? Maybe I might start a different accidental business.
Who knows, Amy, but something tells me whatever comes your way, you are going to be making the most of it. That much I do know. Listen, thank you so very, very much for taking the time to join us today, Amy, and I cannot wait to keep seeing all your lovely designs over the next few weeks.
Thanks, Faye. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Bye.
Bye.
There we are. That was Amy Box. I caught up with her earlier this week, hearing about her amazing designs. I just love Amy, and her enthusiasm is completely infectious. And I failed as well because I have got some of her designs, but I'm not wearing them. I didn't wear them in the interview, and I'm not wearing them now. So Amy, I am officially rubbish. Big hello to Becky Barnes. It is lovely to see you too as well. And I know that you're a fan of Amy's work and Amy's designs, and you've ordered lots as well. So I hope that you are enjoying hearing a bit more about the story behind some of those designs. That's nearly it for me for the class assembly for 1 week. But before we play you out with the Freelance Mum Anthem, let's just remind you of a few bits that are going on in the Freelance Mum diary at the moment. So coming up next week, we have got our Freelance Mum Nets Walk. We're meeting at Ashton Court on Tuesday, the 13th of October. We can do these events socially distanced and put ourselves into groups of no more than 6, and that takes into account children as well. So please, 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 can you do me a favour and make sure that you buy your ticket in plenty of time, because it does make organising it so much easier when we know who's coming. We run these walks by making sure we put people into groups with pink ribbon and blue ribbon, and it's still a really good way that you can get out there, just beat the Zoom fatigue, get some fresh air, and just get connecting with human beings again. And we can do it in a really good, fun, socially distanced way. So make sure that you buy your ticket and that you're part of it. And if you're not a member yet, you can still try us out for free for 30 days. Then on the Wednesday, of course, we have our coffee morning. They were born during COVID and they're absolutely genius, if I do say so myself. They take place every single Wednesday morning on Zoom from 10:30 until 11:15. Come and fill your cup, come and join us. They take place on Zoom and you can get the booking link to that in the Mothership. If you're not part of the Mothership yet, do make sure that you pop in your request to join the Mothership. That's our free, amazing, well, it's not free, it's all part of the membership. It's our online community for fellow freelance mums. And then the week after that, I told you it was busy. On Friday, the 23rd of October, we are trialling our Nets Walk at Tractors and Cream in Somerset. Now, because it's in Somerset and it's slightly further down, we'll be starting at 10:30, and you've got the option of staying until 12:30 or bringing your lunch and staying until 1:30 and making a jolly good day of it. So whatever you fancy, do be sure to come along, come and be part. Check out freelancemum.co.uk for more information. You're always welcome to try us for free for 30 days, and then we think you're going to love it, and then be part of the amazing online community. But there's lots and lots coming up on the Freelance Mum calendar, and lots of ways in which you can connect either in person, or of course you can join us online and as part of our digital community as well. Right then, I think that's pretty much it for 1 week. We've got lots coming up, as I'm sure you've sussed out. But before then, let's play us out with our awesome Freelance Mum Anthem.
If you're jumping or grumping, we're here for you. There's sharing and caring, and yummy cake too. With Faye at the helm of the Mothership, we're all on board for an awesome trip. If you're true to yourself and follow your dream, you'll change the world and break the old routine. Out of the rat race and into the sun,
and clever. Sounds like it's fun.
We're so proud to be a part of Freelance Mum.
Oh, I just love that. Every single time I hear it, it just gives me shivers. Thank you so much, Rachel Mason, for writing and performing our Freelance Mum Anthem. And it was a real joy to see you in person and have a sing earlier this week. And if you'd like to find out more about Freelance Mum and our awesome community, don't forget to check out freelancemum.co.uk. Until then, have a lovely weekend. Bye.